Good morning, hello. It's a beautiful Tuesday the 21st of April, and by my reckoning that's 5 weeks today since lockdown began. I thought, bearing in mind I've started here where we started yesterday, I'd just show you that these pebbles that we were looking at, they've been breeding overnight. There was one pile of them yesterday, now there's 5. I'd need glue to stick mine together. I think the tide's coming in. We've got a doggy having a swim. This looks like his dad. What a gorgeous morning. We're going to go this way today, so I'm sorry if the sun's in your eyes. I do try to organise it so that we're looking the right way, but we're going to walk along the bottom of the steps up towards Cleveleys, so we'll see what we can find. I'm not anticipating that there'll be much to find because, as I said, the tide's in. But I thought I could tell you about the sea wall while we're walking along. It's about 10 years since this was finished, and it feels like it's been here forever. Can you remember the old sea wall before this one was built? Where at the moment we're just past the cafe, so we're about level with Jubilee Gardens. So round about here would have been that little sunken bit where people used to put artworks and things in the little like sort of alcoves in the sea wall, and it always used to flood when it was a high tide, and the path was always full of pebbles. And that's going back some time. I can remember it when we first came here. Look how clean this water is. Can you see? That's amazing. Look at that. You see right down into the sea. That's lovely. I think it's coming in, so I'm just hoping that on this step I'm not going to get wet. So if you hear me scream and sort of throw my camera up in the air, you'll know why. There's a bit of a jolt every so often because these are actually part of the sea defences, so you've got these separator units every so often, so I've got to step over them. So these steps, you can see the water as it's lapping against them, and the energy just dissipates as it meets the steps, and it trickles up the steps rather than hitting a sea wall and it going with a crack. I'm on a wet step actually. I think I'll go up one. I'm not going to get wet even for you. And they're really effective when the tide's up fully, and it's just a beautiful gentle breeze this morning, but when it's up fully and it's a windy day, you can see how they take the energy out of the waves. They're amazing. So these are what are known as Spanish steps. Why, I've got no idea. Maybe they're used in Spain. Do you know the answer to that? If you do, pop a comment underneath. And then in between the Spanish steps there's proper staircases, which are proper treads, because these are murder on your legs. They're really wide. They're about step tread, I would say, but they're really wide and they're really difficult to climb up when you're not fit, which we've established I'm not. So looking at that, you can see, it's quite a benign morning, and it's just a nice, gentle, lapping spring breeze, and you can see that all those rocks are underneath water. In fact, the ogre's at the end of that one, so the ogre is round about there, I would say, and you can just see the tops of the rocks. So he's completely submerged, and if you think he's taller than an average sized person by some way, so that's quite deep even though it's only just up. So then you've got your little bits of wooden groin, and they're going to be replaced soon when the Wyre Beach Management project gets cracking, and I'll tell you about that properly another day. So this beach here that's lifted up against the steps, that is important because it protects the bottom of the sea defences. I'm just pausing then. Did you see that ripple? It's blowing, the wind's blowing, I would say, from the north. I know they said it's blowing from the east, but it feels like it's blowing from the north. And you can see that big wave there is, it's just sort of blown in that direction. Really pretty, it's lovely. It's quite unusual when it blows that way. Right now I'm at the proper staircases, so I need to just climb over there so you can see the difference in the steps. These are proper steps like you've got in your house, and then when you look at the difference in tread, they're quite short and they're really long. You need big long legs to climb them quickly. Oh, it's warm. I might just have to unfasten my zip. So, what else do we know? Walk around this couple. Yeah, so this sea wall was built about 10 years ago, and the whole of the seafront at Cleveleys was all completely shut off when the work was carried out. So now we're getting round about to the view cinema industry and the gym. And the shelters actually act as way markers so that you can see where the gates are and orientate yourself, a bit like the new ones on the seawall at Fleetwood. I'll go back down here. Go back down a little bit because it's nice and nearer to the sea. We'll walk up to the concrete slade and then I'll go up to the top and show you the top. I'm just taking my glove off, just a second. Bit of a wobble. I've always got really cold hands. You know what I say, cold hands, warm heart. So I've popped my gloves on this morning and it's really warm, it's lovely. I tell you, it'll tiddle it down when lockdown finishes. It'll be cool for it to, this beautiful weather to break. It'll rain, howl a gale, be cold. Mark my words. So we'll give you a nice walk on the beach while we can. Just look at this here where it's flapping against the edge of the beach and it's onto shingle. That's shebbles, shingle and pebbles all at once, obviously. Look how clear that is. Wow, that's beautiful. Right, we'll carry on. We'll carry on to our next bit. If you're getting bored, just switch off. Anybody that's interested and wants to watch all of it, you can come with me right down to the end. It's hard to believe that on a wintry, cold, vile day in December that you get the sea banging against the outside curve of this shelter and coming over the top. And then look at that sky, it's beautiful. And the staircase, down the step, climb over to that one. So you might be wondering why these steps are so eroded at the bottom. And obviously that's because the shingle's being bashed up against them. You can see that the top fine layer of concrete is being eroded by constant action of the tide like that. So the top fine layer of the concrete casting has come off to reveal the aggregate underneath it. It's actually eroding. When they design the sea defences, they work out how much erosion that they typically would expect to see each year, and it's actually eroding less than predicted. And irrespective of that, these steps are completely sacrificial anyway, because of the way that this wall is built. These steps could wear smooth and there would still be a metre of concrete underneath. so we're not going to get washed away. This is interesting when you get to this point here. These boulders, I think they must be limestone, looking at how white they are. And they protect the edges of this slipway down to the beach. And as the beach moves up and down, you see different pieces of stone. And it's interesting because when the beach drops, you get all the really white bits showing at the top. And I just navigate my way around. You get all the white bits showing, and they look really sparkly, like somebody's been out with a scrubbing brush and some bleach. They're lovely. Beautiful white rocks. How that beach is built up, that's really lifted at the other side of that. And just look how the waves are just gentle lapping up against it. That's because the pebbles are taking all the energy out of the waves. So we're at the end of Beach Road almost. Thank you, NHS. Oh, isn't that nice? Somebody's written, can you see it? Thank you, NHS, written in chalk. Thank you indeed. So that's the end of Beach Road there, where that gent is. So that goes down to the tramway and the main road. And then here we're at the oar, the paddle, and obviously the gym and the view cinema. A beautiful day. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll be doing a video each morning while we're on lockdown, and then when we finally get unlocked, we'll revert to doing what we were doing anyway. Don't forget to subscribe, and then you'll get notifications of new videos when they're posted. Tell all your friends that if they want some fresh air and sunshine and a walk on the beach, they can come and join us. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Bye.